You're just too old.
Now this film starts with some awful music at the start, which keeps building up to booming crescendos like something exciting is taking place, but all we're seeing is the campsite. That's real edge of your seat thrills. The campsite. And then it moves on to a family playing out on the water and relaxing, while a bunch of stupid annoying teenagers play around on a speedboat. Now the kids push their dad into the water, so they're all swimming about, all having a good time, and naturally the tits on the boat don't look ahead for even a split second, and I mean, it's not at all obvious what's going to happen here, is it? So the guy tells his girlfriend, I assume, to turn the wheel, but then being the man, he pushes her out of the way and takes action by increasing the speed and mowing a kid over. Great reaction. Don't know who he is though. And speaking of reactions, what's this retard babbling on about? You can barely understand her, but at least her acting is amusing for our benefit.
Oh my God! Somebody help the people!
And just in case the opening sequence is confusing and has people scratching their heads, a little boy swims past.
Somebody help them!
No, he's dead, you can't help him.
Hurry, help them! Please help them!
He's dead.
Oh my God! Somebody help them!
Dead! Finished! Fubar! Just shut up screaming, he can't do anything, he's dead. Now 8 years later, thanks to those titles at the bottom, this psychotic mum has packed her kids some food to go camping with, and I don't know if this is meant to be funny or what. I mean, I'd laughed because it's the worst acting I've ever seen in a film, but more importantly, it's completely ludicrous and pointless and bizarre.
Oh! Just a moment, I'll be right back.
Good old mom's at it again.
Here they are, all filled out and signed by yours truly. Wasn't that nice of me?
So a huge bunch of kids are sent off to summer camp, and this scene is surely meant to be funny because I laughed my ass off. The camp guides are either useless at their jobs at controlling the kids, as you can see here, or they're demented kiddie fiddlers who make it no secret about their wishes and call the young kids baldies, which makes no sense.
Where I come from, we call them baldies. Makes your mouth water, don't it?
They're too young to even understand what's on your mind.
Then, good buddy, there ain't no such thing as being too young. You're just too old.
So this kid here is called Angela, and she doesn't talk or show any kind of human emotion whatsoever. Now I suspect that she's the killer. So the strange kiddie fiddler cook takes her into his kitchen to get something to eat, and oh dear. Naturally her cousin runs in, which upsets the cook, and he shouts at them both. Now later on he's tending to some food in his kitchen when someone wobbles the stool that he's standing on. Now I don't know why he's unable to move and get down, but for whatever reason he stays there shouting and then gets pulled down with the boiling water on top of him. And he lays there screaming in pain for ages. And ages. And his friend stands there staring at him for ages. And ages. And then he's wheeled away screaming some more. This film is great so far. It's pure comedy gold. So let's hope it can keep this up. I don't know what it is about films like this. They're not really meant to be laugh out loud movies. And some people probably wouldn't laugh at them. But if you've got that sense of humour that allows you to enjoy and laugh at bad films for what they are, then this film should be right up your alley. Here we have a delightful scene of the kids playing a boring baseball game which goes on for ages. Every scene in this film gets dragged out to the nth dimension. So frustrating. I mean, can you picture kids these days at a summer camp playing sports? Hardly. They don't want to be strapped to a computer or a mobile phone with their fat asses sat on a sofa. But even in 1983, you had goons just like that. See? He thinks a calculator's entertainment. Yet, this geek still manages to catch the ball because it was in the air for ages. And ages. I've got to say, this film is pretty boring at times, but there's always something amusing to keep your interest, but you've got to have a real high level of patience. Now this film was recommended to me by a few viewers, so they obviously know better than I do, but I can tell you after witnessing this film, it's fucking shocking. And I don't mean shocking as scary or whatever, I mean shocking as in terrible quality. Now it looks like it was made about 10 years before it was actually made, but saying that, that's a little harsh because 10 years prior to this, The Exorcist was released, and that's a classic horror. This is just the pit, like camp blood, and I do put the emphasis on the word camp, right? This arsehole decides to capsize his own boat and for no reason at all swims underneath it and starts talking to himself. Angela pops up from nowhere, which is ludicrous, and drowns him, and he waves. Look, can you see him waving? That's really a shit death scene. So Angela slowly starts to come out of her shell when she starts saying a few words to this little shit here, and he gets majorly excited when she talks to him.
Good night.
Good night.
Boy, did I have a great time tonight.
Okay. So it's a bit strange when the ending comes around and she just chops his head off. But if anyone else talks to her, it's the old silent treatment which just pisses people off. So some people just decide to slap her around and chuck her into the water. Now with settings like this, guys always like to play tricks on each other and wind up their friends. So we see plenty of that, although this fat little four-eyed gimp takes things way too far when he says he's going to kill his friend and just happens to have a nice 10-inch hunter's knife sitting around. How does an 11-year-old kid get one of those? Now look at this, all the lads piling on to crush a friend. Now that's pretty normal, but the thing I've noticed with Sleepaway Camp is the homoerotic undertones throughout. Actually, undertone isn't the right choice of words because it's not really subtle, is it? It's right bang on in your face. One of them may as well come out and say, "Hey, I'm Ben's, take a look at my knob, boys." Look, all jumping on each other for ages. Yeah, ages. Guys standing around topless and then all running into the water. Ooh, look at all those white bottoms on display. And just the whole dress sense and dialogue they use.
Would have been better if there were more guys around.
Let's move on. There's an awful lot of swearing in this film too, and I mean an awful lot, especially from the younger actors, which is quite surprising to be honest. But because the acting is so mediocre, it's just funny.
Cocksuckers!
Huh, cocksucker. It's a little queer. No pun intended. Ha!
Better go change before you catch pneumonia. It's almost time to eat.
Oh yeah, one water balloon's going to cause pneumonia. Silly old cocksucker. Oh no! The gayness is spreading from the film! After seeing this, I don't think I'm ever going to go camping again. Oh, brilliant scene. Some guy sat on the toilet. This film is pants. Okay, note the huge gap at the bottom and the huge gap at the top and the window which doesn't have glass in it but that crappy weak plastic meshing stuff, okay? Now Angela cuts it so the guy sits there. She hangs a bee's nest on a stick and the guy just sits there. She drops it and he stands there and shouts for ages and ages and then he dies. It looks like acid's melted his skin away. Right, the director thought this perfectly normal to insert a random shot of two strange guys in bed together. This really is a fucking horror show. So the old guy who runs the camp is suspicious of Angela's cousin, and when he finds a dead girl in the shower room, he for no reason is convinced the kid is the killer by having a conversation with himself. Is everyone in this movie just completely fucking bonkers? All the kids are probably local kids from a special school while the adults were probably brought in from some mental home. For some reason I keep picturing the director being George Michael.
Wake me up before you go. I don't wanna miss it when you hit that high.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. Angela kills the camp bully, but I don't know how she does it because all we see is a pillow getting put over her face and then poor attempts at making shapes from shadows. Oh, it's a spider! The old guy decides to get his own way with the little foul-mouthed shit by slapping him like a girl. Moments later he realises he has to get away now, but Angela throws an arrow into his throat. So, this is all great, but let's get on to the finale. A cop shows up and finds a few people, including the kid who was bitch slapped to death, even though he's not dead. But yeah, oh my god, look at his tash, that's stuck on black paper. Why? He popped up earlier on and he had a real tash, so why is he what? Oh my god, that's mental. Now, the ending is shocking to the extreme. I can just imagine the director sitting there, George Michael, going, yeah, this has been pretty funny, but I want to see a little bit more extra. I know, Angela can have a knob, because I like knobs. It's ludicrous and really is a shocking ending. And she just stands there making weird noises.
God, she's a boy.
And no, before you ask, Angela doesn't have the old guy's head down there. She actually has a penis. Now, I kind of laughed, but I was more puzzled by this ending, if anything. So this in a way concludes my take on the unholy trilogy of shitty camping films, Camp Blood, Grim Weekend, and now this. Words can't do this movie justice, so I'm just going to go get drunk and erase this film from my mind. 1 out of 10.